that's going to be the then. We're going to say it again. Tag, you're it. So just for emphasis. But we love to connect, have a good time, and be very intentional with our day, with how we do things. So I'm really excited that you are here today. Being here, being with us is beautiful. I really appreciate it. We're doing so much for the community, and I'm really excited about what is coming, how things are going. I've really looked at it myself, and I'm like, hey, if I have to help people and do it in a way that they need to really see the value, then there has to be something in exchange that they have to take time and actually do their own research, but at least help them get started with the research, because it's not easy to just figure things out on the way. So today I wanted to talk about something very important. So I just put the link up top here, so you could click that, and I'll switch it up again, and I'll put the link to the website if you want to get more details. I'll put it in the chat. So I just want to get this started today so that I don't have to go through this, and you guys can always go there, please, and click through. Let me know if you have any question. This is going to be one of those rooms that you're going to really understand the meaning of these three things. It's always talked about, but it's never discussed. If that makes sense. So my name is Favour Obasi-ike, and I am the leader here at Marketing Club. We've grown to about 350,000 members in the club, and it's been going on. I've been here. It's going to be 4 years on Clubhouse, November 24th. So it's going to be a good time, and I'm excited because I think a lot of things have been talked about here on Clubhouse a lot. I've had a lot of rooms. A lot of people have heard replays are there. You can definitely listen to it. I also have a podcast. It's called We Don't Play, and we have over 440 episodes. We're top 3% globally in 120 countries, and we're ranked top. We're now 9th season within the 5th year. And we've been helping a lot of businesses understand how to do marketing better. And we've had a lot of interviews from amazing people like you who have amazing businesses that a lot of people need to hear about. And that in turn allows your business to get more recognition. You get more access, you get backlinks, because we're in a lot of, platforms online. We're in a lot of platforms, Apple, Spotify, it's over 30 platforms. I can't name them, but the more access you have to wider audiences, the faster you're able to get your message across. And then that way, you're able to get feedback on your website in turn. And that also gives you, control of how you're able to build out your business long term. So if you need to learn about digital marketing, SEO, Pinterest, please click the link above and fill in the first name, email. Let me know what you in need of, because sometimes you never know what somebody needs until you ask. So it's good to ask those questions, because I don't like to waste people's time, and I wouldn't want you to waste your time either. But the whole essence of being here is to understand what the goal is, when especially if you have a website, because Demystifying SEO is a course. I have a mini course. It's 3 hours long, but you can either do it, you'll see when you click the link, you can either do it by yourself or we can do it with you. And that way you're able to learn, because some people just want to learn. And I like people who want to learn, because that means you want to grow. It means you want to learn something new. I may not teach you everything, but what that course will teach you more than I can spend an hour with you. If you spend 3 hours and we spend an hour plus, then that 1 hour is more valuable to you than the first hour before you knew those first 3 hours were available. So you have to look through those things. So these three tags are very important. If you have a website, if you've paid somebody to do a website, if you do it yourself, whatever the case may be, if it's online, these are the three tags you need to think about: meta tags, alt tags, and header tags. Those are three different tags. I don't really talk much about this, but I said today I have to really come and give some insights so that we can also learn a few things, and just make sure that we can do it in the right way. So as a business, how do you control your content? Where do you show up online? Who do you show up for? And just thinking about the whole process is something that I think is really important to think through today. So this is what I'll say, right? And I'm going to switch this link again so I can put the one at the top so that in case you want to get to the courses, you can get through the main page if you have any questions. So meta tags, what are meta tags? Meta tags, how do I describe this? So when you look at a page source, especially if you go to like Google Chrome, right? If you ever go to Google Chrome and you click on a link, and that link you can be able to right click when you right click on your mouse, and it tells you like, save, print, all the stuff you see on your computer, right? You're going to see one of them that says there are two. You'll see one that says view page source, and you'll see another one that says inspect or inspect element, right? So if you click on view page source, right, the one that says view page source is the one you click on, and then it's going to tell you pretty much what that HTML is. That's hypertext markup language, right? So that way you are able to, really understand the value of, creating concepts and building them in a way that you can be able to create consistency in showing somebody what you want them to see. Because here's the thing, if you don't give somebody a snippet, let me break this down a little bit. If I tell you about a movie right now and I'm explaining this movie to you, that I love this movie, I watched this movie is amazing, I tell you about this movie, the next thing you want to ask me is where can I watch the trailer? So I also want to feel the same way you're feeling. So I have to watch it so I can know if it's really what I think I should watch or what I don't think I need, or maybe we need a bigger group, to go watch it all together and have a better experience. So that question you asked back is that determining factor that's going to either make or break your, your business. So these are things that you have to, consider when you are creating consistency, because these are like snippets, right? When you have a snippet is giving you like a little bit of a description, right? So if I give you a description, then that description requires context, right? So if that context makes sense, then it's now the source code or the page source that now identifies what that page is telling the search engine. So if you leave it blank, which time most times people leave it blank, and because they either don't know what to say or they don't know what to put out there. So if they're going to leave it blank, the algorithm or the search engine just keep it blank or rewrite it and write something that you don't really want to see there, and then that's going to make your business not get the visibility because you're not building correctly. It's like saying you build a house, everything is perfect, there are no leaks, nothing is wrong with the house, but there's a little window on the side of the house that's blowing air because there's no glass to, it's like a hole that's like a huge space, and every time wind blows, that place is always going to keep blowing in. You're going to fix that window pane because it's a pain point, right? It's something that is should not be happening, but it's available, it's there. So that's the same thing with your snippet, with your meta tag online. If you just leave that space blank, especially if you have a website and it's blank, and sometimes you just leave it open, then whatever the source code is, by default, the algorithm will put whatever alphanumeric values in there because it can't be blank online. Something has to be filled in. So if you don't fill it in, it will do it for you. And you don't want what is done for you because it's not what you want. So you have to really think about the existence of that meta tag and how that page describes the content because it's a snippet. So we're going to go a little bit deeper into that. But before I do, thank you for being here, John. Happy Saturday. How are you? Welcome.
Happy Saturday. Just came in to do a little bit of work and checking you out, listening to what you say.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you, love, as well. Rhonda, Nick, Sharifa, Jay, Day, and Merdad. Appreciate you for being here today. So if you have a website, please, let us know in the chat. let us know what you're going through, because I want this to be a discussion, because this is an open space. And it's good to learn and hear what you need, so that it just gives us more intention to build. So when you look at a meta tag, for SEO, it's it's something that allows your site to get more information about the page, right? Because the meta tags are like the title of your page, the description of your page. And this is the difference when you have a website, right? You're going to put text on the website. So that text is what everybody sees. Now, there's text on the website that not everybody sees unless they're looking for that specific page, which means when you hit a next tab, let's say you hit a tab on your browser, that text that you see on the browser that shows, like, you can highlight, you can go to your browser, you can go through different tabs, especially that bold text you see on that tab. You're going to see the favicon or the favicon, you're going to see your logo there, and then you're going to see some text. That text is the meta title. It's a snippet. It's what I want to see. If I want to read text and that text is long, it's going to make me spend more time reading it. So that's eating into my reading time. It's eating into my action time. It is eating into my response time. So you have to think about that. That's where conversion rate optimization is, because the less you are able, the more concise you are, the higher the person is able to respond. So if you're creating meta titles with meta tags, then these tags have to tag along with the person that's reading it, so that they can click through to now access the information that it contains. So it's not just about writing anything there, it's being very specific, because that meta title it's pretty much it's a contender. Let me put it that way. It's more like it's like a pitch. It's like you're pitching to Google, and you're telling Google, "Hey, this is my pitch. I have a page that talks about this. Please, are you able to invest in this page so that this page can now get on the search results? Because you don't own Google, so they don't really have the right to put you on their page, but you're requesting for your page to be part of the other authoritative websites and web pages that are out there that can talk about the same thing people are already talking about, but you have something new that can give somebody a new perspective. So when you want to convince users to open the page, that thing that they read, that descriptive text that they read, is going to be listed in the search results. So how do you know that it's working? Is when the page that you optimize starts to get clicks on your search console, and you start to see an uptick in traffic, because you're no longer just getting impressions and zero clicks, but you're getting impressions and clicks and click throughs. Because it makes no sense to have, you know, impressions and nobody's clicking through. It means that they're seeing it, but they can't tell. It's like me saying, "Hey guys, here's the way to go." And then they are like, "Okay, here's the way." And then the next question is, where do we go next? And we don't know where to go next. They're going to get stuck. And now everybody's stuck in one place. So it feels like there's traffic and there's a traffic jam instead of it to be a traffic flow. So that call to action is what changes it, and that's where the meta title comes into play. And when you now create the right tags, it's unique, it's readable, somebody can understand it. There's a call to action, it's responsive. It's like, click here, learn more, get a quote. Those are things that we say or we hear, but we kind of underrate them. But yet, those are the most detrimental factors if we don't consider them, if we don't apply them. And if we do, the better chances we get, because we have more conversion value to observe. What do you think, John?
I'm in 100% agreement. Look, every little thing you can do to get an advantage will help. Yesterday, you guys did a great um, review of my website, and I'm working on stuff like that. So every little bit is worth it. And some of it takes a while to make it second nature, but we can all find time like today to go backtrack and do some other things to make sure it's done. So I think it's well worth it.
Thank you. Yeah, it changes the whole picture, and it just makes it easier for people to see. and they want to connect with you. It's such a better way to put it. And think about Meta, because when people hear Meta, they're like, oh, is it Facebook or Instagram? It's not. Meta is a company name. It's an entity. It's an incorporation, right? Meta Inc. Meta, SEO wise, is like metadata. So when you see meta tags or metadata, whenever you want to, let's say, because I'm also in the entertainment business industry too. So like if you have a song, there's a song, there's a songwriter, there's a song publisher, there's a sound engineer, there's a publicists, there's their roles, right? So that's where you're able to now get those things. So if you win a Grammy because you were an engineer, it's because you played a role in that place. So it's part of the jigsaw puzzle, right? It's not the full picture, but it's part of the picture. So when you're creating that with meta keywords or meta titles or meta tags, then these are tags that are tagging the person who is reading it to tag along. Just think about it like a tag. Like, don't complicate it. It's a tag. If I'm saying, hey, drive left, go right, go down 2 miles, make a stop, make a right, you get to your destination, that's where you're going to be. I don't have to explain what the weather is and if there are potholes or if there's something nearby. You just get there. That's what you want to do. You want to drive traffic. You want to drive. When you're driving in motion. You're not driving at a stop. So you're driving in motion and you're driving to a destination. So if you're driving traffic, then where is that traffic going? That's the real question. That's really where SEO is. What is if I read this, does it make sense to me? Do I like the price? Do I like the words? Do I feel like I'm invited? Do I feel like it's clean? Like those are questions you're gonna have to answer. And if you have a business, you have a restaurant, you have a hotel, you're learning things, you're like, yeah, this makes sense because if I live in this county or in this district, I would rather go 10 miles and get that or even less than go 30 miles and get the same thing. So you're dealing with consumer behavior, you're dealing with comparative advantages, you're dealing with specificity, you're dealing with intel. So when you do your keyword research and you know that this keyword takes us to this number of, traffic pieces or traffic sources, we know, okay, traffic sources are Pinterest, YouTube, Google, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. Those are traffic sources because they have source files, they have API systems, they have communities, they have links, they have domain authority. All those things, that's the house. That's a property, right? That's an asset. So when you're building on that asset, do you have shared equity? Do you have shared value? Do you have shared media? Do you have shared files? Do you have shared content? Do you have shared keywords? So you're bringing something to the party. Hey, it's a potluck. Everybody brings something to the party. I bring some chips, you bring some Doritos, somebody brings some bacon, somebody brings some, ham and cheese, some people bring some, like you just have a whole party and you bring something to the table. So somebody can now grab something from the table because it's accessible. So that's where access comes in with Meta because now it's accessible. I can reach it or I can read the print. I can see it. It's legible. I understand. I grabbed it. That's what I needed. I collected. I open it. That's it. So if you have 10 pages on your website, do those 10 pages have the exact match phrases? Do they have the exact match keywords? Do they have the exact match messages? If they don't, then that's where we have to think about changing those things. And if we don't change them early, it's going to get to a point where it feels like now everything else is coming else in a different point and it's not going to be good at some point. So you have to think about those meta tags. If you have any questions about meta tags, please put in the chat. Let me know. Any questions before we go to all tags? John, anything? Or clear? We good?
All good here.
Awesome. Welcome to the room, Andre. Appreciate you for being here too. And Austin, I see you, Drew too, and Bright. Alt tags. Alt tags we've heard about alt tags before. We've heard people say alt text, alt tags. Texting and tagging is kind of like the same thing, but because it's HTML text, so it's still a tag because tag requires text. So it's still the same context when you're thinking about the concept of just building a tag. So meta tag is like we just talked about, the building, the house, the gravel, the brick. This is exactly what we want people to see so that if they like the house, they're gonna walk through. If they don't like the building, they're not gonna pass through it. So it's just a thing. So now alt is now like, okay, we fixed the house. Now alt is like the kitchen cabinet, it's the closet, it's the looks and crannies. That's all text. I like to be very, easy with the example and also very easy to understand because SEO can be like a lot, but I like to simplify it. So if you guys don't understand, please let me know so I can make it a little simpler. So thank you, Bright. Appreciate that. So with all tag, it's like I gotta sweep this house, I gotta clean this, I gotta do the laundry, I gotta, do the lawn, I have to mow the lawn, I have to clean, I have to make sure that the backyard looks clean. Like it has to look presentable, right? You want to have candles, you want to have scents, you want to make it feel good, right? That's alt tags. So your alt tags, which is alternative tags or alternative text, is for images or visuals on a web page. So for example, the house looks great, right? Because I can look at your website and it looks fancy. But on the back end, the URL, the uniform resource locator of that picture that I'm looking at that looks beautiful on the back end has a problem because the URL of that image file, because an image file has an extension, that extension could be a JPEG, it could be a WebP, it could be, a PNG, and that file says maybe 123 underscore 56 dot JPEG. That's not gonna go because you on the other side are not seeing what I'm seeing, but it's hurting you more than it's helping you, right? You can still see it, but the algorithm, the search bots cannot refer you because we talked about meta tags convincing the algorithm, convincing the search engine to recommend you because you have the right text, you have the right context, you have the right reflections, you have the right information, your URL is, put together. So if you're not put together with that context, then Google's not going to give your email, your website first base. So if the alt text is dirty on the back end, meaning that it's dusty, this room is cramped up, the everything is just messed up. That's the alt text. I can see your house. It's beautiful. It looks gorgeous. It got lights on it. It's pretty. But on the back end, I don't know what's going on, but that alt text is looking janky. So that's the alt tags because those are things that the bots are going to read. That's what you understand. That's what you know. You know your closet, you know everything. So I can never know that. You do, and vice versa. So when you're filling out those key phrases in those codes, you're uploading a file from your Canva. When you use a template on Canva, when you don't rename the file and you upload it as is, you download it from Unsplash and you upload as is. You know how they say, here's a car and it's sold as is? Whatever happens after that, that's on you. So as is as though you've not considered the factors to even consider in the first place. So when you use alt tags, you have to change those things so that when you now upload something on LinkedIn, change the alt tag. When you upload it as a file on your program, your local drive to the server, because you're uploading it to the World Wide Web, that's where it's going to. Then you're uploading that file so that from your WordPress, file name, from your Wix file name, from your Squarespace file name, it reads the right thing so that when I go back to that source code I talked about in the beginning with meta tags, I can look at your alt text, I can look at your URL and I can see those media files that actually look good because now it looks like a clean house outside. It looks clean inside. It smells good. It feels good. Like you just don't want to leave. You just want to feel good and just bring people and invite people to have a great time, right? Because it feels good on the inside and it also feels good on the outside. So that's how it should be. But most times we don't look at those things because we don't consider those factors. We don't really think about those things until it's pointed out to us. So You have to think about those things. So easiest way is if somebody is building a website for you, you have to ask those questions. Did you rename the files? Because sometimes you can build a website and that was not done. You just Dropbox or Google Drive or just drop it and then they upload as is. We said as is before. They upload as is. There's no SEO, there's no treatment, there's no compression. It's like recording a song at a studio and then you upload, you publish it to everyone without mixing and mastering it. It won't fly. So it's the same thing with your website. It's the same thing with your page. It's the same thing with an edition. You have to do that thing before you even publish a blog. Make sure that it's clean. Make sure the URL makes sense. Make sure that the images look clean. Make sure that the text is readable. The captions make sense. Like it looks like if I can scroll down this page, it's not hurting my eyes. So it has to make sense, and those alt tags make sense too. So when you have an alt tag on the back, how it helps you is when you go to Google Images and you type in a keyword. Now, the keyword you put on the back of that website shows up on the front as an image file. So it now gives you a visual page, which now represents a descriptive text that is displayed on a screen that you can properly see. So now the image and the context helps you now get more people because people are searching based on what they want. So when you show up every time they need something, then it's because you showed up online as a source file that match their search intent. Like it just has to match. It's like a Tinder or dating search. If you swipe left, swipe right, whatever you get, it's a match, it's a fail. That match is going to lead to another match. There's going to be another qualification stage. Okay, can I read this? Does it make sense? Am I understanding it? Okay, let me click through. Let me actually pay attention to it. So the more you're able to look through that, the faster it takes for you to get on the other side. And that way, even with your videos, when you upload on YouTube, rename the file. Just like you have, a cupboard with things, you have cutlery on this side, you have the knife set on this side, you have, napkins. That's the same thing if you think about your website, your file names, the compression size, so that when you have 20 products and each of them are 5 MB, you're not slowing down your website. You have to think about the size. It got to be lightweight. You can't be overweight and put it on a flight. The flight is not going to fly because it's overweight, it's oversized. So you have to think about balancing that equilibrium. So that's how you deal with it when it comes to the alt tags. So I've covered the alt tags. I wanted to welcome you, Julie, to the room. How are you? Welcome to the space.
Loving the conversation.
Thanks for being here, Julie. Appreciate you. If anyone has any question, please let us know in the chat. It's quite quiet today, but I hope it's not too
I can
much.
scream if you want. I'll be quiet. But I mean, it's like the simplest thing. You put a photo on your website. Make sure it has your brand name on the photo, so it's not someone else's brand or Canva or just like 0098655329. Make sure it has yours. That's how Google finds it, and that's very important.
That's true. That's true. It changes everything from your YouTube file name to discovery to people matching it. Like you want people to find you easily. You don't want to give somebody a hard time to find you when they're interested in you. It's just the wrong move, So that just helps you more than anything, and it saves you and them time over time because when you publish one page and you have a lifespan of 24 months, imagine the number of pages you can produce in between time, and that can really take you to a whole new level, So that's how you can do it. Welcome, Miss Andrea. Welcome to the room, and Eman. How are you, man? How are you guys doing? It's what time for you? It's probably nighttime for you right now, right?
Yeah, it's 7:34 in the evening.
How are you? Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm okay. Bit tired, but I'm okay.
That's good. Welcome to space. Eman, welcome to space too. How are you?
Hello, Favour, Uncle John, Julie, Mess, everyone in the listening lounge as well.
Hi, Mims.
I I
What
love
time
you,
is it?
girl. How are you? It's 9:34 p.m. Mess, are you in London? I think
I'm in Chicago, but like sometimes you're on here and I'm like,
no,
what?
I know I love you, girl. I know that you're in United
Oh no,
States,
I'm in
but
London. Yeah, I'm from London.
yes,
Sorry. Yeah.
because she said that it's 7:35, so I think it's 2 hours. I'm 2 hours ahead, so
I love it. This is an international app, and I always love that we're here. Appreciate you for joining. And yeah, we're gonna go into header tags. And before I do, I see Drew has a question, and that's a very important question. So thanks for bringing that up too. And feel free to join us if you have time. This is a good question. How do you resolve this for images that are always on your website? So now there's let me I want to be very simple. Today I want to be very simple so like it can really make sense. So if you re-upload the same image that you uploaded, the algorithm will not know the difference, but the major difference will be the file name that is indexed. So if you, let's say, go to the library, you have a book, and you buy another book that's the same book, but it's a new version of the book, then that book is reshelved and the old one is taken off. You may not know the difference unless you've been going to a library all the time, right? Because of the quality of the book, if that's a book you always go to read. So to the algorithm, if you, or really to the servers, if you update that and that's why we talked about updating your articles, your news feeds, more than creating new posts. We talked about that earlier this week in the marketing club, because when you create content and you update it, that means you're giving people updated information. So the more I'm able to update you, the easier it is for me to feel comfortable. Imagine you're going on a flight and you're about to board in 2 hours. They send you a message, 30 minutes to flight time, ten minutes, maybe even 45 minutes, maybe an hour. They'll say, hey, the flight has changed, the gate has changed. You go here, you're getting that information because it feels like they're communicating with you, right? You're getting that information because you don't feel like I'm sitting at the wrong gate when I have to go through a train to get to my next flight. That's going to be inconveniencing. So those are things that is based on communication, right? That's how you're able to get to the destination. So when I'm using those examples, it's the same thing. So when you re-upload the same image file that you had on your local drive and you re-upload the same thing to the same place, and that's what you now republish, then that's how you solve that problem. So you're able to resolve that for your website, and then eventually when it's indexed again, it now updates, and that's where you're able to get that new version file or that new file version. So that's how to solve it. But here's the thing: there's sometimes you can't solve it, and that's why I'm saying don't be hitting and missing. Just do it right every time, so that you don't have to worry about it later. If you do this on YouTube, there's no way you're going to re-upload that same YouTube video as a file, because it's already been indexed into youtube.com with, you know, 009 underscore MP4, like Julie said, like that's going to be the name of the file forever. That's pretty much the DNA of unless you re-upload it, but you're not going to re-upload the same file. So if you keep the best practice of just doing that simply, you won't have to worry about whether this thing has to be re-uploaded next time. That's a cause and effect. So you have to think through exactly where you want to prioritize these tags. Do these tags make sense? Is this video about this topic? Okay, can I write this topic on this file? And is this what people will see? So when you use hashtags, you use captions, you use words, keywords. These are the same words that people will be typing. So if you have a tree from ground up and it's a mango tree, it's an apple tree, it's an orange tree, it's the same tree head from head down to the top. So you're looking at it as the single unit that is going to give you the single solution. So if your page is going to give that solution, everything around it, the text, the audio, the video, the image, they all have to be together and they all have to make sense so that they can all say the same thing when it's now being asked through Alexa, when it's being asked through Siri, when somebody is searching it on YouTube. it just becomes easier. And then you just naturally get to see your page grows, you get more subscribers, you get more. It's not magic. It's because you intentionally wanted to reach out to them and you set the intention of putting those things on search. So when somebody is searching for something, I can only find it if it's based on the search intent. If I'm looking for flowers, I can't find perfume, or I can't find, something different to that, because that's not what I was looking for. So I have to make sure that I'm matching the search bar, and then that matches through everything. So if it's clothes, same thing. Same thing. Just to give you an example, we this was back in 2020, and she has a store. She has a boutique in Dallas, and it's called Melanie Ann's Boutique. An amazing lady, amazing woman. And in 2020, I remember when we started, she had a website. I can never forget this because it was so like classic. It's a classic example. Based on what we're talking about today, because I like to make sure that it's not just facts. I want to give you some stories that, we've had in the past based on these experiences. So we built the website, right? And how we got to know this client through Facebook. So you can get clients on Facebook. It's very, very possible. Don't underestimate Facebook. So this is 2020. Only God knows right now what you could be doing. So 2020, right? Exactly. John knows it. You know, when you use Facebook and you connect with people, you say something in the comments and then somebody sends you a DM. Because that day I was just answering a question. I think somebody asked a question, just like you're asking a question on Clubhouse, and I answer the question. Boom, I get a DM. Hey, Favor, thanks for sharing that information. I'm in Dallas, and I would like to, help my website. Here's the link. I checked it, and I was like, "How much have you made on this website?" She's like, "She's only made one sale throughout the year." Because she has a brick and mortar, but she's been making her money. She's been doing well. People show up. It's local. It's perfect, But online, crickets. So I said, okay, we got to fix this. What was wrong? She had a lot of images. It was so confusing. I didn't know where to check out. I didn't know what to do. So I asked her, "Did you build this website?" She's like, "No, somebody built it for her. She paid it, and she just didn't know." And it happens. So I'm like, I can't let that keep happening. So that's why I always like to educate people like this, because I have a passion for it, not just because we want to do it for you, but at least you can do it yourself. And then that way you can have more intel to know what to do next. So we told her, hey, we need to switch this up because you're not getting any traffic, you're not connected to the servers, you're not even showing up on the search results, and you're paying for this domain, you're paying for this hosting, you're paying for this service. It's not free. So we at least get your money back, at least break even. So I said, no, we have to flip this. So we literally broke down the whole website and said we're going to start it from scratch. And we used Wix because she was on WordPress and she just wanted to make it work. So I said, okay, WordPress is a little complicated. You just want something. I said, okay, let's go to Wix. Then we can go back to WordPress. I mean, you can always buy a house, move houses. So right now it's functionality, experience, and results. That's what we want. So we said, okay, cool. Let's flip it. So we built it on Wix from the ground up. And in building it, I think she had about like 300 subscribers on her email list. That's what she built, but she never really used email. She just had it there, was just stuck there because she's been doing business for a while. So through the POS system, she's just, gathering leads and that stuff, but she's never really targeted. There's nothing being done, no meta tags, no alt tags. What we've talked about today, I'm going to talk about, header tags too. So these things are very important to caption and you to look through. So I said, hey, let's rebuild the site. On rebuilding the site, we rebuilt everything up from scratch. The pages were changed up. We made sure that the images were compressed. We also had to geotag the images because she's a local business. So you think about, you know, addresses, they have longitudes and latitudes, they have coordinates, right? So I won't go too technical here, but just to give you the base, yeah, we'll cover canonical tags too as well. Thank you for that, Austin. So we had to make sure that it's geotagged so that you have a file that has a DNA of a longitude and a latitude. So if I type hairstyles near me, or if I type in sushi near me, then the results I'm getting from the website is pulling to Google Images, which is pulling to the user. to the end user. So the goal is not just to rank, the goal is to function. So we said, okay, we're going to make sure that all the images we upload to the website are going to be geotagged so that when we geotag the websites, we now make sure that we are also semantically placing those keywords with embedded DNA print of the keywords. So that if somebody's typing blouse or typing dress or sundress, there's a difference. Like there has to be a connection. There has to be something semantically putting those two together, depending on what the person is searching on. So we built it out and we said, okay, yeah, people like, what is her goal? She likes to build out, boutiques for people who want to go on dates, who go to church, go for corporate events, so that's her audience. So I'm like, okay, if that's your audience, then let's build out in a way that we can really give you that expansion so that when people are looking for your business locally or even online, they can find you. So we built it out in a year. She made her money back. She was able to make about, from making one sale on her website all through 2019, we picked it up in 2020. By 2021, she had made at least $12,000 on her website. At least. She got more leads, she got more sales. She opened a second location in Dallas. She grew. Like she just blossomed. And I was like so happy for her because I was like, we got to fix this. Now you have two different Google business profiles on Google, and that's where you're able to build it out. So imagine that's just online. God knows how much she made in the store, right? Because that's now store plus online. So it's not just one stream of income, it's an added stream of income that can pay the overhead costs, that can take care of maintenance, take care of stuff, because you have a business operating expense. So as a business, you can't be paying for hosting domains and you're not hosting your house in a great way that actually gives good traffic. So that's why I keep, emphasizing on that. We have another client today. She's opening a location in Minnesota, and she's doing so well. And she pretty much has opened it up. This is her first location. She's having a launch today, and she ships out to all US, London, and Dubai. And she's won her grants up to even 60 grand, just doing her thing, just making sure that she's visible. She's out there. There's somebody I met last year, and a year later she's doing well. There are so many stories like I've gone through, and I'm just like, wow, it's beautiful to see these things because it's just the simple fact of placing a code, monitoring the code, optimizing the code, and sticking to the code. If you can do those four things, you can always go so far, and that's how you can really grow your business. So Drew, I hope that answered your question. We'd love to hear from anyone. John, Julie, Andrea, Eman, anything you'd like to add on before we go to Austin's question. And I also see you as well at Dewale. Okay, so I think we're good. Okay, so let's go ahead, Eman.
Listen, it's just a moment, but I just want you to highlight why compressed pictures are doing much better in the algorithms, because that's one of the things that people really um, don't think about it, because most of the time you receive the images from your client and you just upload them, and that's it. So for us as either professionally as people who are doing our SEO, or those who do it for themselves, not for a client, why it's important. I know in my opinion that it's very important, and it has a big impact for the both the speed of the website and the SEO and the alt tags. But we will just simplify it to people who are listening down there.
Thank you for that question. You're 100% right on this portion of compressing your images. The reason why I emphasize on compressing your images is because you don't want to have slow traffic. Slow traffic means high bounce rate, which means high exits, which means like your exit is so huge that people, it's like somebody comes into your store, they walk through the door, they can't even go to the back and they're already out of the door because they can't stay in for another 5 seconds. That's what it feels like when you have more images on your website than you're supposed to in terms of size, right? That's why it's really good to resize your images. You can re-upload your images, but you need to resize them too. So it's always going to be something happening. It's like a car. You always have to keep checking. It's like your house. You always have to keep cleaning. It's like your car doing different things. It's like you have to be doing it consistently. So it's not that you're going to do it all the time, but the more you're able to do more in a less amount of time, the less you have to do later on so you can have more time to do those things. So when you compress your images, you're compressing them to a position that it feels like if somebody loads this website up on their website on their phone, they don't feel like this thing is a big bother. It doesn't feel like it's in the way because it's actually informing them then and they're telling you what they want because you're responding back to them in context. So that's really where you're able to, think about your image file size and do it consistently, right? So that you're not just doing it haphazardly, but you're doing it with accuracy. You're building it into a way that can actually give people insight to learn more about your business and they can stay on your website. When somebody stays on your website for a long time, that's a good thing. These days, people literally can leave you on your website for 5 seconds and they're gone. How do you keep somebody on your website? How do you even know they're on your website for that long? That's another question you have to think about. Can you find a company? Are you able to tell? Like if I ask you who's the person that spent the most time or what company spent the most time on your website last month or last week, are you able to say that? Are you able to know the duration? Are you able to understand when, why, where they came from? Those are things that are going to make or break it because if you have an image that is not small in size, and I don't mean small in size as far as the pixels, but I mean in small in size as far as the weight, right? You can have a very beautiful 4K looking website with amazing pictures and compress it to the point where it doesn't feel like it's actually choking the website, right? So there has to be a way you have to do it that makes it easy, even for videos. When you upload videos, sometimes it's not even good to upload a video on your website because you're slowing down. That's more. It's like you move from 5 megabytes to now 50 megabytes, which is a video. That's just that's a no-no. You'd rather go to YouTube and point it back. If it's Instagram, if it's TikTok, if it's Pinterest, pull it from those sources because you're already there. So why you're not on, like you're on their site, why are they not on your site? It's brand partnership, right? It's brand affiliation, it's brand connection. If I say my music is only on Tidal or my music is only on Spotify, that's because I associate with Spotify, I associate with Tidal. So if I'm on Google, if I'm on YouTube, if I'm on LinkedIn, it means that I associate with those platforms. I go there because that's where my ethics, that's where my code of conduct is, that's where my community lives, that's where the people I connect with are. So it's no longer just, oh, I'm showing up because I need a social media account. It's, do these people need my information and am I able to deliver with the accuracy and with the intention of giving them something valuable? That's where you come into play with giving people insights on your pages. So your pages now become those platforms that they can read through, see through, and then they can learn from you as you're able to give them insights on those things. That's why even, Austin talked about canonical tags, right? And whoa, let me read this. Folks on CH talk regularly of reposting blog articles, cross posting backlinks, but not these other tags. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. It's true because honestly, when people just say repost, it's like recycle. That's what I'm hearing. If it's not renovated, if it's not adjusted, if it's not aligned, because you can repost the same thing, but is it going to make a difference in a different way on another platform? If I post something on X, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on TikTok, on WhatsApp, on Snapchat, wherever I'm going, am I going to get the same effect? Yes or no? I don't know. You have to give it some time. That's why when you look at a graph within a 28-day cycle, you're able to know, okay, this channel, this traffic source gave us more resource, and the resource was human resource, which is people, which is community. So you're building into the community and affinity, because these are the same things that the consumer behaviors work alongside what you're already used to doing. If I like to eat cereal, if I like toast, if I like waffles, if I like coffee, if I like juice, if I like tea, those are things that I'm going to feel like we can have a coffee session, we can have, a wine tasting experience. You start getting affiliated with those things because that's what you want. It could just be water. I just like alkaline water. That's what I want to drink. So you connect with those people. So you now start building into those affinities. And then now when you start going to your file name and you're talking about a brand that you want to be like or you want to connect to it, put those things there. Because what you're doing is you're commercially placing your image file, which is an asset, right? It's an asset. That's why even on WordPress, they call it media assets. They don't call it pictures. They call it media assets because they know that this is a property. This is a file. This is a source code. This is information. This is this is proprietary information. So when you're building that, you're also expanding on the same. You're giving people leverage to understand this is what my house looks like on the outside, on the inside, right? And that way, the more you're able to renovate it, the faster you go. And those little changes, it's like when you change your oil, things just work faster. It's not because the oil had superpowers, it's just because you had a difference in performance. There was a dynamic difference in what you're doing and what you're now doing. So it changes everything when you now think about those things. So canonical tags are referring links, right? Or preferred links. So if I say I publish an article today, and this article has this exact URL, if I come back tomorrow and I change that link and I redirect someone to another place, what I'm doing is I'm trying to change the preferred URL. Why is it preferred? Because it was first released, it was first published. So if I launch a page and I say that this is the about page, and then tomorrow I change it to the me page, that's a different page. It's on the same page, but the address is different. So now I have to redirect that same information to make sure that it's contextually applicable and responsive to the search engine. So when it's missing, it means that your DNS server, which is your domain name server, or your DNS record, is your domain name server. So when you have a name server is it's like the root, like the root cause. Like, I don't know how else to put this. It's like if you don't have this thing, if you don't have this root, this connection, then everything else is going to crumble. It's like if you don't have the right house blueprint, if you don't have the right coordinates, the right measurements, the right metrics, if you don't build house the right way and you increase the size by maybe 1 degree, that's going to change everything because it's not at an equilibrium. It's not at a position where it can actually sustain the pressure, right? So that's the same thing that applies to your website. So when you have that tag, that canonical tag, right? I didn't even put that in the top. There are so many tags. So thanks for bringing that, Austin. The tag, right? That canonical tag is the main tag. It's like, this is the house, this is the door, this is the back door, this is the kitchen, this is the exact main preferred access code. This is a passcode. This is a URL. So when it changes, it now changes the dynamic of your performance because now you're not tracking data. It's off the grid. It's not being seen and it's not being referenced. So you're missing out on data. You're missing out on audience. You're missing out on everything technically. And that's a problem. So when you fix that problem, you're solving the problem to now get more people to connect with you, which even goes into your heading tags, right? Because canonical tags are close to heading tags when it comes to context. And that's the last part I mentioned, header tags. Because these header tags, right, are headings. Like if you're heading a direction, right, and I'm telling you this is a guide, this is a manual, this is how you know, this is how let's say you want to mount your TV, right? This is a manual. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6. Here are the needles. Here are the This is what you need. This is what you got to do. Here are the pinpoints. Everything is given to you there. Those headings are ranked between H1 and H6, and that's heading 1 through heading 6. So if I know that I want to have a heading tag, right, or a header tag, then I need to think about the importance of ranking, right? There's a ranking for everything, right? Everything has ranking. When you start school to graduation, there's a ranking. When you get in a position to the top, there's a ranking. Even in heaven, there's a ranking. Angels, there are rankings, right? There are rankings in everything. It like there's order, there's law, and there's order. If you go against it, that's on you. So you have to operate, and they say success leaves clues. So why are we trying to invent the wheel when the wheel is already invented? It's already there. So if you know that it ranks from H1 to H6, it means that I need to have a one H1 and I can have multiple H2s through 6. What am I saying? If I want to address a topic, then the heading of the topic is the caption that you see first. If you want to buy a book, you're buying that book because of the name of the book, because of the author of the book, right? So if that book has 12 chapters, then those 12 chapters are the chapters that I want to read that are coming in headings and subheadings. Because we say web page, if we really take it out of the digital concept, it's a page on the book. Your website is the book. The web page is the actual page. So if you have headings, those headings have to make sense. If I'm talking about introduction or the preface or the forward or the glossary or the appendix or whatever it is, the chapters, if I have illustrations, then those are the subheadings that make up the structure of the website. So if the website is missing the heading tags, the header tags, the canonical tag can't even respond because there's no reference, there's no preference, there's no main, there's no subdomain, there's nothing that is giving you that authority because now authority demands law and order. Authority demands, concentration to consistency in delivery at a high capacity. So if your header tags are not heading people in the right direction, then you won't be given first priority when search engines like Google want to give you ranking. That won't happen. So that's why it's really important to separate your headings and your subheadings on a web page. So that if I'm talking about how to bake cookies, I'm going to talk about how to bake cookies. That's let's say that's heading 1, how to bake cookies for Thanksgiving, right? Heading 2 is history of baking, right? Another heading 2 could be different types of cookies. Then under different types of cookies, heading 3 could be, chocolate chip cookies. And, then it keeps going on like that. Then you go back to heading 2, but you only have one heading 1 because that's one topic. That's one podcast episode. That's one blog. That's one heading. That's one news line. If I'm reading the news or I'm listening to the news, that one headline is a H1. What you see on the screen that's in front of you in white text and red background, whatever it is, however it's displayed, that's the H1. So you're going to read that, and that's going to determine if you want to pay attention to the news or pay attention to the context of the information that you're being delivered, whether it's through text, through audio, through video, through graphic, or through image. So when you have those rankings and you have a heading tag and it's connected to the meta tag, it's also connected to the alt tag. And the canonical tag, like we talked about, is the main tag that people can get to see. Then doing that consistently, you're going to be at a very high performing rank at some point because you're addressing the problem and you're solving the problem on the spot. So I don't know if I've been simple or complex today because sometimes I can do a lot of technical add-ons, but I also like to give those contextual backups to just make sure that it's also understood. So does anyone have any question or any contribution? Please feel free. We'd love to hear from you.
Not on that, Favor. Everything you said was good.
Thank you, John. Julie, you there? Anything that you would like to let people know? Even when it comes to like titles and just being intentional with what they're saying to people.
I think you were pretty technical, but I kind of got it. I understand the importance of the headers and the consistency of the header tags as well as the meta tags. So it is about consistency. I'm wondering if everybody else understood it. I did understand it, but I know for a lot of people it's very complex. So keep going.
Thank you, Julie. Yeah, I really hope people are able to get it, and I hope you're able to understand it too. And just, getting it and getting it from this point of view, then breaking it down helps, because when you now add those examples, then you know how they work, why they work, where they work, and when they work. So that's something to really look out for, and also think through as well. Adewale asked about, is it possible to use Blogspot to rank on
Is
Google?
oh,
Sorry, go ahead.
I have a quick question, and I think maybe people will write with this question. Is there a difference in terms of all this alt tags, meta tags, header tags on different platforms? And I'm wondering what platforms everybody uses because there's a lot of different nuances to each platform you use.
That's true. That's true. I think it's there. The way they build it is in a way that you can find it in the settings. But if you don't really go there, or if you're not even building the website, you may never know that it's even there. Because most times people would build websites, but they wouldn't really know what was built on the back end. They just know that they have a login. So it's also very, important to look at those things too. So you're right. We have to look at those things back and front. Love the room today. No, this is definitely something that I'm glad that we're able to talk through, and we've covered this, and I hope this was understood. And you can always go back, listen to this, and get more insight. But the moral of today's story, or today's room, or just the key takeaway is just have a clean house online. I think that's the best way I can put it. Have a clean house online, so that when people see you from the outside, from the inside, it's all together, it all makes sense, and it feels good. And you give the algorithm, you give the bots less time to understand what you're saying, because it just makes it easier for them to, read through the lines and act accordingly, so that you can get your feedback loops and get people connecting, clicking, which you want them to do, but do it in a way that feels also like you're taking care of them too. So, yeah, this is great. Thank you so much, John, Julie, Andrea, Amen, Austin, Bright, Ishman, Barak, Nick, Sharifa, Drew. Thank you for that question. Nana, and Gray. Appreciate you all. I'll be here and tomorrow. I'll do an SEO Sunday. What would you want me to talk about? Let me just, I have some context ideas, but what would you say? Like, you can put in the chat. What is one topic you would want me to discuss? Put it in the chat, and then I'll bring that up tomorrow. Anybody? Making money. Yes. How do we make money? You know what? Blog marketing is great. Fixing your Reddit. Oh, that's a big one too. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna have those ones. I'm gonna note those ones down. Making money. Uh right now, I mean, every platform is doing great. I every platform is doing great right now. TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. So it's really hard to tell. But if you really want to make money in 2024 during this holiday season, the things I've seen billboards do, I'm still yet to find a competitor that can beat that when it comes to hyper focused targeting. So yeah, I've talked about billboards. I've kind of slowed down on it, so I don't want to bore you guys with it. But I'm on the back end. I'm seeing a lot of things going on, and I think this holiday season, if you really know where your audience is, you can make a lot of money and lead to your website when you have all this. parameters and all these, links and all these great things happening for you if you really want to, take it there as well. So blogging bucks, yes. I love that. Blogging bucks. I love that. Reddit is a big topic. We're going to talk about that. I've talked about Reddit once on Clubhouse, so I'll do it again. And we'll talk about fixing your Reddit because that's one place that's huge. In fact, for podcasts, I'm sure you know this, John or Julie. Um, when you look at like the top two podcasts out there, Joe Rogan and Call Her Daddy, they both have a Reddit. They both have a subreddit. So that's a huge thing that also talks about, expansion and Google perspectives. I don't know if I'm sure you know about this.
Yeah, I'm on Reddit, but a few weeks ago I started getting a server error, and I cannot fix it. So that's what I need to get fixed because it's another way to get in front of more people and develop backlinks and all that stuff. So it's a win-win if you ask me.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now I know what it is. Okay, we'll look into that for sure because Reddit can be really techy, but I also think it's very expressive. I love the way it is. It's like open ended, and you can get a lot of stuff from there too. Okay, so blogging bucks, new and better version of rank and rent strategies. Yeah, that's a good one. YouTube algorithm and Pinterest payday. Okay, these are really great topics. So I'm gonna schedule them out. And since it's like what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a whole week. Yeah. Yeah, we can literally run that through next week. Okay. So I'm gonna put them together and this would be the rooms for next week. How does that sound, y'all? We already have 5 topics for next week. Depending on the order, I don't know, but we'll see. But I know it's usually morning time, but we'll kick off something tomorrow with SEO Sundays, and then we get this show going. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this, especially the YouTube algorithm. I've been having fun with YouTube lately because we're managing about 6 YouTube channels at once, and it's really fun to see how we're pushing the YouTube channels on the digital billboards. In turn, we're getting subscribers, we're getting people to, it's beautiful. I'm like, this is really happening. Like it's quiet, but it's working. Like you're reaching the actual people. They're actually tapping in, they're actually walking, they can see it, they can read the graphic, they can act on it. And people that see billboards, from what I've noticed, they act on faster. If you see a Facebook ad, a Google ad, a YouTube ad, you're gonna skip it, you come back tomorrow, you think about it. Yeah, it's there because you already know it's there. But the billboard, you don't know what's gonna happen. It's probably gonna disappear and you don't have time to sit another 10 seconds. So it's like it's quick. So when you really can see where you're going, it just saves you a lot of dollars or currency, because it's global, and it saves you a lot of time. Then you just send people to your article. Imagine them reading your article from a bus shelter or a train station, and you're teaching them something, and they're waiting for the bus or they're waiting for their Uber, and you've just acquired a whole new community that you didn't think about, and now they're on your podcast. Now they're in your email list. It's a beautiful thing to see, y'all, and you're not spending as much as you're spending on online, like on Google and stuff like that. So it's different, just think differently, act differently, use 2025 and, think out the box. And we'll talk about those things too, so that you can also, enjoy it. So these are great topics, y'all. Appreciate you all. And thank you. Thank you everyone for being here. And we're going to be here back tomorrow. So till we meet, have a blessed day, and we'll see you guys soon.